Rasul, what up, yo? I'm gonna have to get on this one. Yo, the might cane and more bite flow tight like more to blood moons full reflecting sunlight. At night, Moore's order of round table setters. I self-law, a master is more than letters. Vocal mudra, I write spells by spelling. Tone intelligent, no need for SETI yelling. Black power, most won't check what we're taught. Power is all illusion, it's all about force. Thoughts make magistrates bend, not back spasms. Active more stand on squares when that happens. Ancestors step out of realms into beings. Pen one wizard, make them reveal eyes of lizards. Seeing, never doubt self, Allah and man will force one to inner, under and overstand. If man's hand can extend past Allah, what your ancient foremothers and forefathers are. You are with no doubt or contradiction. 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 I wear beads of Buddhist cause I know I'm as Asiatic a prophet. You think he's black, just stop it. Solomon said I'm black, belong to a nation. I respect that more than what black power's saying.
Yo, Stang, turn my phones up a bit. Ain't nothing changed, it's the same. You still skylarking. Most got stepdaddies like Harden. They hard in, fixed in their ways, they too hardened. Some got convictions, even if they apply. They the victims, ain't getting no pardon. All my knackers in the pen, middle finger to the warden. Free your mind, even though your body barred in. This war that I'm starting, might not want no pardon. Stay far then, I'm prepared, ain't handing my card in. What they wanna call black is soot. Burnish bronze on the foot, charred in. Hydrogen molecule with the carbon. If you dare take a walk through the garden, center stage for the role that I'm starting. I'm more in Black Knight like Martin. Soar, take flight like a Martian. I'm Thor, gladiator, Spartan. Still polite, a gentleman, charming. Presence like the Red Sea when it's parting. Kundalini energy when I'm charging. Light power and the force of a car wind. You know the type when you gotta keep your arm in. Why fight when you know say you're not win?
You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. From day one till day done, I'm here. I never fear. You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. Been running this from year to year. I stay prepared.
Top ranking, top charting. We have it by the skids, crates and the cartons. The highest grade of the strain that I'm sparking. Up late nights, Johnny Carson. Early mornings, remember starving, engraved in my mind. Carved in, no dwelling in the past. No harping, don't be afraid or alarmed by the barking. Keep it close by a very thin margin. Shadow box with a little bit of sparring. Cage fights when you're fenced and you're barbed in. No cavalry, desperado charging.
You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. From day one till day done, I'm here. I never fear. You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. Been running this from year to year. I stay prepared. Clean up your heart, don't come. Cleansing the fire, don't burn. Keep up the pace, don't run. Empty heart when it's out of the gun. Clean up your heart, don't come. Cleansing the fire, don't burn. Keep up the pace, don't run. Empty heart when it's out of the gun.
Wow. Peace and love, Moors. That was exclusive, anonymous, in the spirit of. It's almost on its way. It's almost on its way. You know what I mean? First album in about 15 years or something like that. So it should be a good listen. You know what I mean? Islam to all the Moors worldwide.
Peace and love to everybody. All the Moors that's been calling in, being patient, you know what I mean, while I take 2 weeks to return their calls and stuff like that. Jed, Moors are looking for you. Moors are looking for you in Mount Real. So if you have a new number, link me, because Moors are looking for you. Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love. So, it's funny how they don't want to hear Moors. So we'll let you know, I mean, other people talk for Moors, just because, you know, as we start to realize, I was starting to realize that people's stupidity is becoming more and more evident. It's becoming very clear who's stupid and who's sane, who you should talk to and who you should avoid at all costs. So, I don't know, sometime earlier today or something, 6 hours ago, James Bay on Facebook posed the question: if you are born in Canada and live in Canada, how can you be a Moorish American? Or would you be a Moorish Canadian? Now you can go to khalifamedia.com. khalifamedia.com. Welcome to Canada. Right? Because it's funny, you know, they're going to say America triple K and stuff, but not Canada triple K. Because they think up here is all, you know, everything's beautiful up here and there's no skinheads with swastikas tattooed on their titties up here. Right? They're up here too. They're up here too. And they know that they're Irish, Scottish, and all that BS. They know that they're not no damn Canadians. Right? They know this. Okay? So Sharif An El Bey, who you know as, you know, one of the heads of the Ali's Men's little club group or whatever. So he comes on there and he says, land is not the determining factor for nationality. Political community affiliation is. The Prophet Drew Ali is the founder of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and thus is the final word on such matters. No people are citizens, members of land. People are citizens, members of political communities called nations. So the term Moorish American, as termed, understood and used by the Prophet, meant American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. While their nation and government operates on geographic American soil, Mexicans are citizens of Mexico, thus descendants of Moroccans born in America. Descendants of Moroccans born in Mexico would properly be Moorish Mexicans. The same would apply to Canada. So in the terms of Noble Drew Ali, Moorish American meant American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. Now, if people are citizens of political communities called nations and cannot be citizens based on land, then you can't say that they're American citizens, first of all. Because American citizen implies America, which is land. Citizens by way of Moorish ancestry is because we are descendants of Moroccans, born in America. Not born in North America or South America, or Central America, or the adjoining islands, born in America. Descendants of Moroccans, born in America. So we're Moroccans. Moorish American was a term for dumbass people who were caught in Christianity in the 1920s. But we're Moroccans. That's why our flag is a Moroccan flag. The red flag, a 5-point green star, is a Moroccan flag. If we say Moorish, that means pertaining to something. Pertaining to what? Pertaining to Moroccans. Now, this is March 25th, 2011, 1530 Markham Road, Toronto, Ontario. Before His Worship, Justice of the Peace, I.S. Chandhoke. Case file number 4863991030160400. The Ontario Court of Justice, in the matter of the Provincial Offences Act, Her Majesty the Queen versus Kevin S. McCletchie. Now, Her Majesty the Queen is the head of Canada. Kevin McCletchie is a Canadian. So Her Majesty has jurisdiction over Kevin McCletchie because Kevin McCletchie is a Canadian and Canada is a private foreign corporation owned by the Queen. So anybody that calls themselves Canadian in Canada is classified as a ward of the Crown. This is not what we say, this is what Canada says. Just in case people want to keep playing this game like Moors are Canadian. Oh, excellent. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Hold on one second. So, they have this setup letting the people know that Her Majesty the Queen versus Kevin McCletchie, because Kevin McCletchie is a Canadian, but Canada is a private foreign European corporation, and people cannot be citizens of corporations. People cannot be citizens of Walmart. So if people are telling you that your nationality is Moorish Walmartian, they're playing you out your birthrights. So what I wanted to do was let's get somebody who's not even from here, right? Who was told about Canada, the land of opportunity and stuff like that, come over here, and then let's see how they identified it, because you know, you're not going to listen to your brothers and sisters here. Maybe you'll listen to the people who you claim, you know, brought you over here on a slave ship. They sold you in the gory slave stuff and brought you over here. Alright, fine. We'll get one of those people to tell you about how they feel about Canada, what Canada is to them, and what their nationality is, and we'll see if, you know, this stresses the point. Right? To the people who like to like comments made by clowns who wear feathers and turbans and try to pretend like they're somebody in the Moorish movement, when years ago they abandoned the Great Seal and started doing all this BS that you see that's going around today, that outside people are looking at the Moorish thing, laughing at, haha, look at the Moors, they don't got their shit together or whatever. Those are the cuff boys. Those aren't the legit Moors. That's the Moors who were the infiltrators that you're supposed to be looking at them and laughing at them. But back to Canada. Islam more. Islam. So let me just read the question to you, because you know, somebody put the question on Facebook, and we just wanted to get the perspective from somebody who is Moorish American but isn't from this side Morocco, to see get where your perspective is. So the question is, if you are born in Canada and live in Canada, how can you be Moorish American, or would you be Moorish Canadian?
citizen, that means you're just a piece of paper. You know what I mean? Like, to the birth certificate fraud that we already know about, you're just fictitious on paper.
No, but when, okay, not,
You're emotionless. That's why it's really to have you under control and to know your nationality and know that you're not Canadian, quote unquote Canadian, is to know, is to have a power within yourself that a lot of people don't want it. Like, as much as we could sit here and tell these people about their nationality, a lot of them are not ready to take control. They still want Jesus to drive the ship for them. You know what I mean?
right.
So, you know, it's sad to say, but it is what it is. Well, I mean, many are called, but few have chosen. You know what I mean? You have to choose this. You know what I mean?
Right. No. Okay. So, on this note too, what you said before, about the birth certificate and the individual being on paper. Now, how did, because you're coming from a different perspective because of your national origin not being on this side. So how did the birth certificate apply to you with the name? Because you know sometimes they'll say, well, you have an African name, so you don't have to do anything. You could just be.
No,
right.
Because the same fraud that is being run over here is being run over there. Remember, these guys are under the same fucking monarchy. Like, stop this nonsense. Like, people should have common sense. The same fraud is being run. When those guys sat down and divided up the land, you know what I mean? Leopold and whoever divided it up and called it what it is, that you know it as quote unquote Africa, which I don't subscribe to it at all. But yeah, when they did that, you know what I mean? Like, they ran the same fraud. They're all running the same fraud. So I never even seen my birth certificate. That's the blessings about it, because I could actually keep, like, anybody could ask me and be like, yo, you have a birth certificate? But I've never seen one. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, literally. So, and mine got lost while I was, like, while my family was in transition and while I was incarcerated, you know? So I never saw, like, when I came to the information, everything was kind of, I didn't have to really do anything, like, you know, I don't know, they could ask me any question about, do I have, even the whole driver's license thing, like, I had one when I was like 16, but then I got incarcerated for like over 7 years, and on paper, again, goes back to the whole corporation thing. If a business is like, if something has been inactive for a period of more than 7 years, naturally, it's the business, whatever business is done. First of all, you know what I mean?
Right. It's dissolved. Yeah.
So like those are things that people don't. It's hard for people to understand. Like it's all paperwork. It's witchcraft on paper. It's all spelling words. It's all spelled, and that's what it is. Again, it goes back to people like just even to present their nationality card. You know, like me for myself, like I just forget sometimes to use it for the tax exemption, but I use it when it comes to the factor approaching me. I know exactly. I pop it on. I pop it on them like it's a badge. To tell you the truth.
So are you subscribing to your nationality being Moorish Canadian?
No, God. No, that's an oxymoron. Like Canada was the other day. They're quote unquote cities, district within Canada, quote unquote Canada, is older than Canada. Like, let's stop this. There's corporations, there's banks. They are most older than Canada. So let's stop this. You know what I mean? Stop this. You know what I mean?
Yo, I know you.
I'm not getting caught up, but I don't know. I think, like I said, a lot of people's lifestyle, you have to make adjustments to your lifestyle when you get nationalized. And again, I just feel like people in general are just who they are, yo. Like, you can lead them to, like, it's been said, you can lead a horse to a well, you can't force them to drink, yo. Like,
Straight.
well, so it's like, yeah, you're not gonna drink? I'm good. More for me, that's like, that's cool. That's how you wanna live your life? That's good for you. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, coasting here. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
So like, we don't get caught up in all that nonsense, but it's like, science, I mean. And once you come to the science, everything should just click. And if it doesn't click for you, and if it does click for you, but you just fear, because straight up and down for some people, they know it clicks, but it's just the fear.
Right,
I met more like that. I understand. It's okay. Like, yo, it is what it is. Yo, maybe it's better you just, stay in the corporate role, because you might
like hurt yourself.
Stay in your lane, like the homie would say. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, yo.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Straight up. All right, more. Well, I know you have your family stuff to deal with, yo.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hail up to the boys. Hail up to the boys and the Empress, and we'll build.
All right, guys.
All right, fam. Islam. Give thanks.
All right. Peace, Morris.
The more said Islam. Yeah. All right. So he's not even from here. And he knows. He has enough common sense to know, well, if I'm in land that's not my own, the wisest thing is to get with the Aboriginal indigenous people, because if anybody knows what's going on, it's them. Got with the Moors, declared his nationality. Remember, he has a name from over there. Over here, he's Bay. Went to court, put all the videos online. Canaanland Moors, my name is my name. Go watch them. Right? Puts everything out there, so everybody knows. But, remember, he beat his case dismissed and all that stuff, These guys want an example of a Moor that went to court and won using nationality card. Well, yeah, there's one. Like, Moorish American. Okay? So again, Queen has jurisdiction over her quote-unquote Canadians, which are property. Canada is part of North America. The country within North America is Mexico and Morocco. We know that this is Morocco because we know Washita history, because there's mounds out here. And everybody knows the ancient mound builders were the Olmecs, who were the Washita, who were the Moors. So y'all fool us about we're some Canadian who started in 1867. How are we Aboriginal indigenous people, but we're calling ourselves something from 1867? And then Moors are back in that position. Moors are back in the position of the thing that started in 1867, we're going to go with that's what the identity of these people in that jurisdiction should be. When Canada comes from Canandaigua. There's Canandaigua, Canaan, K-A-N-A-N, Canaan. What's that? Canaan. Algonquin. There's Canandaigua, New York, Canandaigua Lake. There's Canandaigua in Northwestern Territories. So we know that that name of Canaan was out here. If Canandaigua is a name that's Aboriginal and Indigenous out here, and when you look at where did the name Canada comes from, Canandaigua comes up as one of the names. Then up here's Canaan. Okay, if up here is Canaan, then clearly it's not Canada if up here is Canaan. But nah, they don't want to go with what Noble Drew Ali said. That we're the ancient Canaanites. They don't want to go with that. They want to go with their wards of the British Crown. And you're telling me that these aren't dirty Moors? When they're trying to take all the Moors in Canaanland and put them under the jurisdiction of the Queen by calling them Moorish Canadian. Do you really get what's being revealed in this time of the great revealing, because the eclipse is a magnifying glass and you can't hide. You can't hide. Because it's the Aquarian age. Like, everything's coming out. Like, you can't hide. You can't lie and tell people that. People are going to use their common sense. Hold on a second. Canada's a corporation. Canada's Walmart. Can't be a Walmartian. I can't. It's just not possible. I don't care what you put in front of it. Moorish, Hebrew, ancient Egyptian, Kemetic, whatever. You can't be a Walmartian. You can't be that. And we're showing you in their records, right? Because the story's still going. We're not done. To get you to understand that they know what the difference is. But you have to be the one to articulate that difference. Remember, this is their records. This is not Moor's stuff. This is Canada's stuff right here. This is Canada's documentation that they know. It ain't no Moorish Canadian. But you're going to listen to some dirty Moors. Even corporate Canada knows Moorish American. We just put the clip on TV. We just showed you the clip. They didn't say Noble Drew Ali said that they're Moorish Canadian. That's the news out here. That's why we put it up. Because that's the news. All those cameras that you saw was every news station that was out, that's out here. Everybody covered it. These people don't want to be Moors still? Why would they cover it? Why would they think it's interesting to cover Moors? Because they had heard about Moors in ever. Out here, that's news. I don't know where you're at. Where we're at, that's news. Factual news. Because this is not something out of some storybook, history book in the University of Toronto, University of Ottawa, McMaster or some BS. This is in their face, standing in front of them with a fez on. And these individuals are going to take every single Moorish American in the jurisdiction of Canaanland and sell them out to the Queen. And you're telling me that they're not dirty? They're not dirty. The people who took your name, gave you some other name, they're dirty. They're slave master and all that stuff. Okay. Your name's Moorish American. These guys took your name, Moorish American, give you a name, Moorish Canadian, that's putting you under the jurisdiction of the Queen, and you really don't think that there's a problem with that? For all the liker people on those comments. For all the people back in that position about Moorish Canadian. Right? So remember, the Queen, Her Majesty, the Queen, owns the Canadians. Anybody who says that they're Canadian, they're property of the Queen, known as a ward of the Crown. The Crown means the Queen. Ward of the Queen. If they said that, people would know what the hell's going on and they wouldn't be Canadian. Now at the bottom here, they say, Mr. Kudjo ROL, ex-relation, Kevin McCletchy. Now why would they put ex-relation on their stuff? Why would they distinguish between Kudjo ROL and Kevin McCletchy if there's not a difference between Moorish American and Moorish Canadian? Remember, this is their stuff. This is not Moorish documentation. There's the number. You can go check, call them up or whatever like that. Get your own copy. So you can see that these people are agents working for the other side, trying to sell out your birthright, like they've been doing. They just see that, you know, there's fresh meat in Canaanland. There's stupid Moors out here too, who just want to be free so bad that they're going to pay $5,000. There's stupid Moors everywhere, right? Why would they say X-relation? And make sure you go look up X-relation, so you can shove it in these people's face. And when they say Amor went to court and that, here, there's the number, so you can prove Amor went to court, put his status on the record, and the record acknowledges the status that was put on the record. How come they didn't just put appearances by Kevin McCletchy down there, like they always do with every Negro, black, colored, whoever else that goes to court? Why? And then how come, if this is the Queen versus a Moorish Canadian, how come throughout the transcript, all they're showing throughout the whole transcript is Mr. Kudjo Otto L, which is a Moorish American, not a Moorish Canadian? It should be saying Kevin McCletchy through all these papers. All these pages should be saying Kevin McCletchy on them, not Kudjo. Why would it say Kudjo if Kudjo's not the one who the Queen is versus? If the Queen is versus Kevin McCletchy, right? If the Queen is versus that entity, then that entity should be the one that's listed in the transcripts. But why are they not listing? Why are they not listing Kevin McCletchy ever? Because status was put on the record. First issue, status. And the status is Moorish American, not Moorish Canadian. So you can listen to people who pretend to be stuff and get knocked out and stuff like that. Or you can get with people who be what they know. You can get down with the people who are, in the name of the Moors, we're gonna have pedophile supreme grand sheiks, you know, in our corner and stuff like that. You're gonna ride with that. The Moors that are doing good, you're talking BS. Moors that are right, you got something to say. But the Moors that are doing wayward stuff that has other people looking at the Moors like, oh, look at the Moors or whatever, you're not saying nothing about them dirty people. You're just gonna join in the dirtiness. Well, take clear note that Moors who are affiliated with Canaanland, Moors that are affiliated with Canaanland, we've been in our lane of Great Seal, Moors Order of the Round Table, RV Bay Publications, Washita, etc. We've been in our lane and give honors where we think honors are due. Yeah? Anybody who says they're Moorish leaders getting honors from Canaanland. Because we know you Moors dirty. We have all the records to show. We have your stupid messages on Facebook trying to prove that you're somebody when you're not even out here. What do you know about Moorish anything in Canaanland? And you're not even here. Talk about stuff where you're not at. I go to Philly. I go to Florida. I go to places. So I can talk about places. Because I go there. If you haven't come up here, don't say nothing. Zip the lip. With regard to people are Canadian up here. The friggin' people up here know that we're Moorish American. So when you're starting to play your little games with your boys online and stuff like that, put up stupid questions and see what happens and all that stuff, right? Know that, because we have spies everywhere, so once it's brought to our attention, things are going to be addressed. Because confusion time's over. You don't need to confuse people. Just give them their birthright. Let them go about their business. It doesn't matter what they do with their birthright. It's theirs. Once they're not burning anything down, violating anybody else's rights, once they're living with the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, they know what their flag is, they know who their prophet is, they know what their holy book is, they know what the greeting is when they see somebody else with a turban or fez on, then Like, they're straight. There should be no need to disagree with that individual if that criteria is met. If that criteria is met, there should be no issues. There should be unity amongst the Moors, like, you know, when we were in the streets or in the girls, slice girls' faces and stuff like that. Same thing, we're just in our right mind right now. Which leads us to why we're here today. That was just the intro. That wasn't even. So of course we got some questions to deal with, but we wanted to start invoking the energy because August 17th is coming up. You know what I mean? And we already know the forerunner of the Moorish movement has to get his props and his honors and his respect, because, you know, he wasn't playing with regard to nationhood. That's why he's the forerunner, because he was preparing the people's mind for what Noble Drew Ali was going to present by talking all this nationhood. He called the stuff Negro to reel them in, because that's where they were at the time. But when you check the records, you know, you had Deuce Muhammad Ali working hand in hand with Marcus Garvey. He's a fez-wearing Moor. Deuce Muhammad Ali directly working with Marcus Garvey. Noble Drew Ali, he's a Moor directly working with Marcus Garvey. Moorish Zionist Jews, they were the band for the UNIA. The Moorish Jews were the band for the UNIA. So Marcus Garvey was surrounded by Moors. Moors took Marcus Garvey under their wing. Deuce Muhammad Ali, African Times and Orient Review newspaper, was the paper that Marcus Garvey was writing for before he was anybody. When he was a nobody, he was working for Deuce Muhammad Ali's newspaper. A Moor. Fez wearing Moor. You think Marcus Garvey didn't know? These people out here playing this black Pan-African BS, fake flags and all that. So Noble Drew Ali gave us a very divine reference point, as he is a prophet, and prophets speak to those with ears to hear and present for those with eyes to see. Anybody else, you know, don't even pay them any attention, right? Eliminate them from your thought stream, right? The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, the Holy Quran, your holy book, Moors, has excerpts of what you might call the Aquarian Gospel and Noble Drew Ali's personal lessons, divine lessons, scriptures, whatever, for the Moors to better themselves, to get themselves from the low level to the higher level, right? At the end of the Quran, the end of time and fulfilling of the prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways, and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days, to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Jesus. And again, we're referencing this to Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey. Remember that as Moors, wake up, sleepy. We're not talking about some European on the wall in people's churches out here when we say Jesus. So, if that's what was in your mind when Jesus was uttered and a European came in your mind on the wall, you already know that you're under some brainwash that you need to clean before you even start getting into this. Because you're going to get into the Quran and hate Noble Drew Ali. Because you haven't let go of your nigger mind that Jesus is some European on a wall. So the truth that's presented about him, you can't accept because no way a European did all this good. We're supposed to get out of your mind that maybe he's not a European. You just throw away the stuff, and then that's the term of, you always hear Elder Taj talk about don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Right? So the reference point of Marcus Garvey, John the Baptist, and Noble Drew Ali, Jesus, is to give perspective. Is to give perspective to what is being presented by these individuals for their people. Because just like John and Jesus, they were martyred because they were speaking the truth. They were being the truth. And them being the truth was resonating with people who had no truth in them. And we're coming to the realization that they are more divine a being than they might, think that they are. Right? Now we want you again to have in your mind the relationship from a broader perspective, right? And as usual, everything is hidden in plain sight, but we're too blind to see. Because everybody wants to run out and get a nationality card without clearing their mind of mental slavery of which they have now, and not understand that when you jump into Moorish birthrights and nationality with a nigger mind, your Moorish nationality stuff is going to fail. And it's not the Moorish nationality stuff that's wrong, it's you. Because I can throw you the keys, but if you never drove stick, you're going to be sitting there. The souped up car, you're just sitting there. Right? In these modern days, there came a forerunner that was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who taught and warned the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to the earth by Allah to teach the one-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. That's Noble Drew Ali inducting Marcus Garvey into the fold of the Moorish movement, inducting him, right? Because remember, he's a descendant of Maroons. So it's not like this is not right up his alley. Like if we talk to the Moors in Philippines, the Moros in the Philippines are going to be very in tune with what our position is as Moorish Americans. Being that we're the Aboriginal indigenous people of the land, our religion is Islamism, we're Muslims, we wear turbans, fezzes and stuff like that, and there's people that are trying to colonize. And our duty is to stop them from colonizing the best ways possible, you know, based on what we got. They'll agree with everything that we're saying. Why? Because again, Drew Ali laid it out, who all the Muslims are. Who's descendant of who? So we can see that when he said the uniting of Asia, he was speaking on behalf of anybody who is for the upliftment of fallen people with the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being the guideline. And once you're doing that, then you're in line. Anything else that people are doing, I'll question some stuff. Because it was clear what Moors were supposed to do. Right? Any Moors that have been active at making sure our people get this information, right? Round of applause, because that's what you're supposed to do. Right? This is not a money grab. Because we can. Because I can fix a bike, everybody's gonna pay me 100. Right? But then you got brothers like Keith El Bey, Islam to those Moors, who they own a barbershop. How come nobody's covering this? These Moors own a barbershop, right? These Moors own a barbershop. And these Moors took time out of their personal day that they have to, you know, be at their barbershop and, you know what I mean, make finance to pay for whatever it is that they got, gas in the car, whatever it is, you know, they got families or whatever like that. But these brothers took the time to go to the church. And Noble Ali told the Moors, well, anytime a Moor goes into a church, it becomes a temple. Okay, so they go to the temple and give all the children free back to school haircuts. That's being an active Moor. Forget going to court fighting some ticket. That's being an active Moor. Why? Rotarian complexion. Rotarian complexion. Right? Assisting in the uplifting of fallen humanity. You already know these brothers aren't, these mothers out here can't pay for no $15 haircut. Moors recognize this. Recognizing, you know, oh, there's something that we can do here that's humanitarian. Let's put our activity towards that. Yeah, I know I got a ticket that I got to do, but forget ticket. Let's get all these young men sharp for first day of school. Let's have them not looking like niggers on the first day. Let's hook them up. Yeah, oh yeah, of course. You know what I mean? We got the sisters in the back. They're doing the girls' hair. That's active. That's doing some. That's what the European is expecting from Moors. For the Europeans say, hey, you see those Moors over there? We recognize the Moors. You want the Europeans to recognize you? Be humanitarian. Go to the dollar store, get some bags, gloves, walk the street, pick up garbage in fezzes and turbans. Do that. Do that for 2 weeks. I bet you get media attention. Bet you. 2 weeks. Fezzes and turbans, pick a day, pick a time, and do something humanitarian. Bet you're going to get media coverage. Especially if you're on the hedges and the highways, like Noble Juali said. Not, boxed into your little corner where you live. Only the people who you know, who you already know, they don't want to know about Moors, or they would have been banging your door down. Forget those people around where you live. People outside where you live. You go to little black events and stuff like that. Right? Not black events. Not somebody is a lecture and we're going to go as Moors. No, we're talking about boots to the ground, hands dirty activity. Not writing writs and stuff like that. Right? Again, you got some type of service you're providing. What do? Well, I'm a Moorish bandager. You know what I mean? We just bandage people when they need to get bandaged. Well, we have 500 children over here that need bandages. You know what I mean? Because, we have 500 games of soccer coming up. We're going to come down there, we're going to hook up all those youths for free for school so that they can be properly bandaged. That's active. Forget beat ticket. Beat ticket ain't nothing. Moore's been doing that. Open a school. Do that. Start a credit union. There's already one being started, so you could forget that idea. Don't jump by over here. Now you're starting a credit union over here. No. As soon as anybody starts jumping on that one, we already know you're a dirty Moor, trying to mess up the good stuff that Moors are trying to do. Alright? So we're just going to put that out there. Put that on the record, for the record. Let the record show. Anybody starting a credit union after the original founding credit union, those are dirty Moors. We're telling you already. Watch out for them. As soon as you hear another credit union pop up, know that those are dirty Moors. Don't even think twice about it. Well, they had Noble Drew Ali's statue in the front of the building, so doesn't that mean that they're with Noble Drew Ali? Okay, you go right ahead then. Go right ahead. Go right ahead with those Moors that have the statue in front of the building of Noble Drew Ali. But don't get with the foundation who did the legwork for that statue posing jackass to make a claim that they're starting something. That's why Drew Ali said flag's 10,000 years old, because it ain't about him. It ain't about him. This is birthrights. Birthrights been around before Noble Drew Ali. He's part of something that's already been in existence before him. What's the issue? Right? Because again, all this is full circle. Because it's their own that killed John and Jesus. The Romans did the... No, it's the people's lack of faith in his teachings why he died. Forget Romans. Always blaming somebody. Stop blaming people. Take some goddamn responsibility. You're selling out your own stuff. So again, the reference point, anytime you're dealing with Bibles or scriptures or anything, you better have a metaphysical Bible dictionary so that you can know what you're talking about. Don't be talking anything. I don't want to hear your lecture. I don't want to see your PowerPoint BS about anything biblical, scriptorial, and you're not talking metaphysics. Shut the hell up. So John, Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, everybody who has one follow along, you know what I mean? If you don't feel bad. They got one online metaphysicalbibledictionary.com or something like that. Punch in the word John, the page will come up. John, from Hebrew, Jehovah, bestows mercifully. Jah is gracious. Grace and mercy of the Lord, dove-like, meekness, compassion, fertility, fruitfulness, love. A. John the Baptist, son of Zechariah, the priest and his wife Elizabeth, the forerunner of Jesus, a disciple of Jesus, brother of James and son of Zebedee. John is a contraction of Jonah and Jehoanna. Now remember they said right here, a disciple. The forerunner was a disciple. The forerunner is a disciple. So if the forerunner is a disciple, that means the forerunner was taught. That means the forerunner was taught or followed the teachings of the coming Messiah. This is why Marcus Garvey dressed up as the admiral for the UNIA parades. Because the admiral is an Amir, which is a Moor. Not a black guy, not an African guy, a Moor. Only Moors are Amirs. This is why he did it. Right? He was listening to what Noble Drew Ali and all the other Moors around him were telling him. He was actually manifesting. Millions of members, that means he foreran. That means he called the people. Everybody knows he had millions of members in the UNIA. It's not a secret. He's the forerunner. He paved the way. He paved the way so everybody can part like the Red Sea and watch the prophet pass. And after he passed, get in line. Because the Redeemer is here. And this is not some religious BS. Hear those Moors talk. They said, Noble Drew Ali is the Redeemer of... You call yourself black. 15 years from now, see what happens. Keep thinking that this is a joke while, people have you distracted. People have you looking over here and you think Moors don't mean nothing, Moors some BS or whatever. While they're setting up the trap for as soon as you turn around, you walk right into it. Why? Because you didn't listen to Moors. You thought that, these guys over here with their African names, but licenses that say John, James and all that stuff, that those are the real conscious guys that are here for your liberation. But they're getting tickets in the name of Frank Gary. But they're conscious of their self. They're conscious of their self, but they're going to rent a ballroom in the name of Frank Gary. But they're conscious of who they are. They're for the liberation of their people. John. Remember, this is before was the layman, dummy version, definition of John. Right? The guy who's a forerunner, the disciple, and then that's why they like him. But this is really what John represents. And this is the perspective, again, that you should have. So if you're gonna say, okay, good example. I know Brother Ramiel or whatever, I did his Quran classes. Those are amazing classes. I went through the whole classes, I got my certificate. Excellent. In your spare time while you were studying the Quran, did you look up anything in a metaphysical Bible dictionary? What's that? go back again from the beginning and then go through it again, but with a metaphysical Bible dictionary this time. Or, I got my nationality papers, yeah, one more or whatever. See those papers. You ever look up judicial? No, it means judge, doesn't it? Here's your papers. And if it means judge, don't forget that that's probably going to be in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, so you should probably look up judge, judicial, things relative in that too. Because remember, Noble Drew said divine and national movement. People have had you running over there in the national direction. We're wheeling you back and let you look at it divinely first so you can have a better perspective of when this man said that Marcus Garvey is the forerunner, and the forerunner, when we check the literature or the scriptural references, it's John, then we should look up John in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary so we can have Marcus Garvey, the forerunner, who told the unconscious Moors that we need to canonize our own saints. Forget everybody else's saints that they got. Our own saints, we need to put them on a pedestal. So Noble Drew Ali wanted you to put Noble Drew Ali on a pedestal so you can appreciate what he brought to you. Because he's John the Baptist. But not John the Baptist guy that they show you in the book. And he's kneeling down and they're about to take his head, and then I want John's head and stuff like that. And then the guy's coming down with the head on the plate and all that stuff. That ain't... That's not the John that they're talking about. This is the John that they're talking about. Right? This is the John. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus Christ. He signifies a high intellectual perception of truth, but one not yet quickened of spirit. So he shows a high intellectual perception of truth. What truth? Remember, don't forget that's one of the principles that Noble Drew Ali used, right? What's truth? The truth that we are a nation. He didn't really know how to pinpoint it. He really didn't know how to make the point specific to the nation by identity or by identification. But he knew that we were a nation. How could he not know? He had Deuce Muhammad Ali around him. Deuce Muhammad Ali was like the equivalent of a Stephen Hawking to the Europeans, but in the realm of literature in Europe. That's how big he was. Deuce Muhammad Ali. Wrote books, wrote plays, had all types of stuff going on with regard to that genre of the arts. He was a master in that. Right? Actor, all that. Deuce Muhammad Ali. This was an individual that was around, remember, disciple, right? The forerunner. The people that were around him. Deuce Muhammad Ali. The Moorish Zionist Jews, who the Hebrew Israelites today don't want to claim as their foundation. The only Hebrews that were over here were the Moorish Zionist Jews in the 1920s. There was nobody else dressing like Power Rangers talking about their Hebrew Israelites back then. It was none of these jokers that you see today that call themselves Hebrew Israelites. Whatever they claim that they come from, like they weren't around in the 1920s when the Moorish Jews were around, that were getting invited to Haile Selassie's coronation because they're the true Jews. They got personal invite. And again, not just to go watch the coronation, but be part of it. The Moorish Jews, not any Hebrew Israelite crew, clan, or clique. The Moorish Zionist Jews. Moorish Zionist Jews. These are people around Marcus Garvey. These are people around John the Baptist, who was watching him go through his ministry. That he doesn't even know that he's going to be forerunner of the Moorish movement, and all the adepts are around him like, yeah, we got one here. This one might do it. He might be the one. How are we going to use him? Just have him stir up the people. Just have him stir up the people. But one not yet quickened of spirit. So he was still vibrating slow. By the time he got arrested in Atlanta, they had to get rid of him because he had quickened by that point. By that point, he had realized, by going through his trial, same thing with Prodigy, going through the trial, realized, hold on a second, these guys trying to get me set people up, they're trying to set me up. They got Mark Garvey on some $3 mail fraud stuff. They got W.E. Du Bois being a punk, sellout, writing articles against Marcus Garvey or whatever like that. In the end, to be saying he was wrong and he should have sided with Marcus Garvey from the start. Like, didn't respect John the Baptist. Thought that was some Marcus Garvey guy. Didn't even know what they had in their midst, because they never looked at it from a metaphysical perspective. And like C. Freeman said, you know, some of the most brilliant men passing over Joali in the street because they were looking for Jesus and passed him up. John represents that attitude of mind in which we are zealous for the rule of spirit. This attitude is not spiritual, but a perception of spiritual possibilities and an activity in making conditions in which spirit may rule. This John the Baptist perception of truth leads us to strive with evil as a reality, not having discerned the truth about its transitory character. John the Baptist may also be said to be the innate principle in us all which ever seeks to do right. Its origin cannot be located. It comes out of the wilderness. It is crude. It is like a voice in the wilderness crying for the right way. The whole human family is naturally true and honest, and thus rugged reformer is a child of nature. Culture does not make people honest nor bring out their natural virtues. The inner soul consciousness that draws its nourishment from nature's storehouse opens the way for the advent of spirit. That which the baptism of John signifies is brought about by a process metaphysically known as denial. This baptism symbolizes the getting rid of the limited thoughts that encumber and darken the understanding. It is found that to say mentally, I deny the belief in the reality of matter and the material conditions, causes that aggregation of the thoughts to scatter. This is a mental letting go that has to be applied to all departments of the mind. Jesus said, we're going to skip some. Jesus said of John the Baptist, he that is but little in the kingdom of God is greater than he. And John said of Jesus, he must increase, but I must decrease. This means that the least of the spiritual thoughts in man is greater than the mightiest reasoning of the intellect, and that the intellectual concept of things must give way to the understanding that comes through the Holy Spirit. The intellect is to prepare the way for the spiritual consciousness, the Christ. So really what you're dealing with is, when we look at the transition, majority of people who claim to be Moorish American today came through either Nation of Gods and Earths, Nation of Islam, UNIA, right? Some type of raise the consciousness realm, right? You could even put the chematologists, Egyptologists, people in there, right? The intellect, the knowledge in those storehouses called schools of thought are supposed to prepare the way for the Christ consciousness. So Nation of Gods and Earths came probably closest, because they straight were telling you that you're God. But remember, Nation of Gods and Earths is after Noble Drew Ali and UNIA. So to have the concept of I'm God, I self-law am master, Allah in man, but be stateless, neutralizes your power or your connection to the Holy Spirit. Because nationality is the order of the day. Whether you like it or not, that's a reality. Ask people with nationalities and they'll tell you they're not colors. They'll tell you, no, I'm not a color. I have a history, I have a culture. They'll say that out their mouth. So for them to speak from this perspective would mean that they have to know that there's a difference. There's a difference between somebody on the unchrist consciousness and somebody on the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness people are in tune with things metaphysically. They'll go into what Noble Drew Ali read, and they'll come out here and they'll slap some of these grand sheiks up with some metaphysics. Have people in the temple, which this has happened, have people in the temple looking at Grand Sheik like he doesn't know what he's talking about or whatever like that. And then this other individual who's just somebody that studies, they're coming in and people are looking at them like, oh, so what? Hey, how could we use you for something? Because people haven't done their job for 80, 90 years. And the stagnation of that, the lack of using the Christ consciousness is eradicating. Because people are, forget when we, like we said before, we used to laugh, right? Because elder Moors used to look at us and be on some, Noble Drew Ali said, you know, new Moors are going to come with their eyes wide open, you know what I mean? You know, these Moors out here, they weren't expecting these Moors that's coming now, telling them how they really feel about certain things or whatever, right? We used to laugh like, yeah, they don't know, we're the new Moors. Well, there's newer Moors than us now that know the truth about their nationality, birthrights, and they study and all that stuff. They're not coming in blinded like we're coming in. They're not coming in to find out about Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish movement and, oh no, I've been on RV Bay 3 years. I'm just getting to the spot right now where yeah, I feel good enough now that I could call Kudjo and have a conversation, because I heard you guys on the phone calling and stuff like that, and you guys eat people. And I'm not getting eaten live. So I'm gonna call you when I get my mind right, when I get my studying and stuff like that, and I feel like, okay, yeah, Okay, so they're going to ask about this or whatever, then I'm going to reply with this. And then they're not going to be able to, right? So the metaphysical aspect is where you want to be with regard to this information, because this is divine first. Being that it's divine first, you know, once you have your metaphysical Bible dictionaries and stuff like that, and you have a metaphysical perspective of what Noble Drew Ali brought, it makes more science so much better. It's so beautiful to see behind the veil. It's so beautiful to, hey, why is there a doorknob in the sky? Let's walk over there. And there's a doorknob in the sky. And they've been playing you the whole time. Telling you about civil rights and people hate you and they don't like you and nobody came to save you. The white man killed all your leaders and all that stuff. When leaders came, laid everything down, went to the soul plane to get some better work done, left everything with you, and people sitting down here waiting for some leader guy. Yeah, where's the stuff at? The man said, the last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali. Okay, well, if he's the last prophet, then Marcus Garvey is the last forerunner. If he's the last forerunner, then ain't nobody else coming. Priesthood is dead. You are going to be the one to save thyself. Now, a quick story why we even went into this today, because was at the station at Scarborough Town Center bus station, and this elder, they had their little, their little setup thing to do their little canvassing. Jesus loves you. Are you ready to find hope? And then they have their little angels and stuff, right? You know what I mean? So they sent her over, but usually I just play like I don't see them and I just walk away because I don't want to hear what these people are saying. But she had these glasses. She had these glasses that were like this bus driver. I don't know if you heard the story. We did a class a little while ago. I was telling you about the bus driver who saw my Eye of Heru shirt. And then she was saying that, oh, if you have an Eye of Heru shirt, that means that you're a spirit guy, because Eye of Heru had something to do with some number 11 angel in some whatever that she was involved in or whatever. So she saw this as a sign, and then, I go put my money in the thing, and then she lifted her hand up, and then we had the same bracelet, right? So we're sitting there building whatever. So this is how I even ended up talking to this lady, because she's like on some, I don't want to deal with you right now. You know what I mean? I have stuff to do, I'm out of here. But so she came, she gave me that little flyer thing that I just showed you, right? She gave me the Jesus Loves You thing. And this book right here, The Love Letter. Give me this book called The Love Letter, right? So as I'm walking away, you know what I mean, I'm telling her, thank you, give thanks, Auntie, I appreciate, giving me something, for nothing. And open it up, and it's the Gospel of John. Right? And then I'm tripping out because, oh my gosh, Marcus Garvey, and and it was windy that day, and then like now I start getting, like it's going off now, like, oh my gosh, right? So I'm starting to read this thing. So, and again, this is just Gospel of John, you can go get this or whatever, it's online or whatever, but just to speak of the metaphysical perspective that is so obvious once you start playing around in the metaphysic and the esoteric. When you go back to the mundane things, the esoteric stuff comes to the front and makes the digestion of the lesson a lot more fluid, right? It's not something that you're forcing. Well, I understand that it's not saying what's on the paper, but I don't get completely how, because there's a block still. There's still the Negro black colored perception there. There's still that filter. That's why the study is so important, because you have to break these walls down in order for you to be able to perceive the message that's being relayed in so-called, biblical or scriptural word, because it's always a metaphysical lesson. It's never what's on the page, right? So this is chapter 2, Jesus clears the temple. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration, so Jesus went to Jerusalem. In the temple area, he saw merchants selling cattle, sheep, and doves for sacrifices. He also saw dealers at tables exchanging foreign money. Jesus made a whip from some ropes and chased them all out of the temple. He drove out the sheep and the cattle, scattered the money changers' coins over the floor, and turned over their tables. Then going over to the people who sold doves, he told them, "Get these things out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a marketplace." Then his disciples remembered this prophecy from the scriptures. "Passion for God's house will consume me." But the Jewish leaders demanded, "What are you doing? If God gave you authority to do this, show us a miraculous sign to prove it." "All right," Jesus replied, "destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." "What?" they exclaimed. "It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you can rebuild it in 3 days?" But when Jesus said this temple, he meant his own body. After he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered he had said this, and they believed both the scriptures and what Jesus had said. Because of the miraculous signs Jesus did in Jerusalem at Passover celebration, many began to trust him. But Jesus didn't trust them because he knew human nature. No one needed to tell him what mankind was really like. Why? Because he had these so-called priestly people up in here selling stuff for sacrifices and changing money in his Father's mansion, which would be the quote-unquote house of worship. So he already knows what mankind is all about. It's not, like he doesn't know, right? Now again, relating that to Marcus Garvey, interesting. Temple is within. Sent an excerpt from Marcus Garvey, Message to the People, The Course of African Philosophy, page 95. Never fall in love at first sight and marry at the first opportunity. Never promise everything at the first request until you know the person is worthy of your promise. If you prize your own good fortune, never pledge it on the first approach of any man, but follow him, investigate him, and when his conduct coincides with what he states and what he promises, you may take the chance of trusting him just so far. As proof of this, there is more unhappy marriages than happy ones, although based upon the best promises at the start. There are more unhappy relations between man than happy relations, simply because the evil mind of man cannot keep good always. It is generally evil. This gives us sufficient evidence that man is vile and only in remote instances good. This is Garvey talking now. Like he's going there. No, the Garveyites not quoting this. If you know it, then why take the chance of always believing before seeing? Isn't that Noble Drew Ali's lesson of belief, faith, and fruition? And that man must get from the step of belief into fruition, where man is what he knows, opposed to believing. But he didn't study Moorish science or whatever. The taste of the pudding is the proof of it. Know your man before you believe. Never believe before you know. Always let your mission be to make man good. Therefore, talk to man always from the loftiest pinnacle. You may convert somebody, and then speaking about always let your mission be to make man good, therefore talk to man always from the loftiest pinnacle, then people are going to, oh yeah, Kudjo, you need to stop talking to, oh no, because Garvey cussed out W.E. Du Bois. Just go read his letters. Right? So people get talked about from the loftiest pinnacle when they act in the manner to be deserved those honors. If they don't act in the manner to deserve those honors, they're not getting those honors from Kudjo. They might be able to fake those honors from somebody else. Right? You may convert somebody. You may turn a vile man good. And if you succeed in doing this, in even one instance, you have accomplished a great work. So Islam to all the Moors out there who, instead of saying they're not going to tell nobody nothing because they're not ready and all that stuff, they went to them and told them something with regard to their nationality and birthrights, and that little thing that they told them changed that person's life. Islam to all you Moors who at least attempt to tell them, even though we know that they're maybe not going to get it. The fact that you're attempting, the fact that you're trying to at least wake up one, your attempt at that one might just wake them up. And if they wake up to this truth right here, trust that you did a great work, monumentous work. You need to be applauded, give certificates, trophies, or whatever else. Because that's what this is about. Right? It's not about being somebody. This is about waking up our people. Leadership in good character must make sacrifice to raise man from the lowest depths. But it is blind foolishness to sacrifice more than necessary. Therefore, redeem the man with the least amount of harm to yourself. Leadership in good character must make sacrifice to raise man from the lowest depths. Right? So we know. Active Moors. Right? We know. 720 Moors. We know that we make some sacrifice to waking up our people. I mean, it might be stay up late, talk at work, drive out of your way, you know, anything. Some kind of sacrifice is made in order to wake up our people. Guaranteed. There's no way that you're saying, I'm Moorish American, I'm active Moor, but you're not sacrificing something in your own personal life in order for your people to be free or be redeemed. You have to sacrifice something. You think, well, I don't got no sacrifices or whatever. You're probably not really doing nothing. You're just, you know, show up when stuff happens. Yeah, we're here. We're in the picture, Islam. And then MIA. Till the next thing comes up where people could look like somebody. Right? Leadership in good character must make sacrifice to raise man from the lowest depths. But leadership in good character, it is blind foolishness to sacrifice more than necessary. So when you realize that, you know what I mean, somebody called you 5 times in 2 months asking you the same question, you know that they're not studying or anything like that. Don't feel bad ignoring some of their calls. Don't feel bad. Because, you know, it's blind foolishness to keep sacrificing more than necessary. And then you could take the M-O-R-E and put M-O-O-R, you know. So again, we're talking about Garvey talking. So Garvey is saying, you know, it's foolishness to sacrifice more than necessary. But put M-O-O-R there. Therefore, redeem the man with the least amount of harm to yourself. No, what? Isn't that Noble Drew Ali? Don't endanger your life with a fool. So clearly Garvey was on to something. So Islam to that. Make sure you go get that book. I think it was Tony Martin. Marcus Garvey, Message to the People, The Course of African Philosophy. Everybody that's Moorish American needs that. White book with blue writing in the cover. Right? Need that. You need that in your stuff. Alright? Goddamn, 8:30. Brother Kosi Trey L. Before I begin, let me state on the record, I give honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for all that he did for us. I give honors to Taj Tweet Bey, Kudjo Adwa L, and other honorable Moors for setting the record straight pertaining to our birthrights and nationality. Question 1. Islam. We are already aware and well informed of the enforcement of the organic constitution and setting the stage for showing all Moors are here and awake. In regard to our national identity card, the right to travel has been enforced on a national and international level. And in my time of studies, I have enforced my nationality cards in my affairs with multiple occasions. With that being said, there is no doubt in mind or spirit that it does not work or has no value when I know it does. However, I want to clarify a few things. One of the most talked about topics is right to travel by air or even boat if one feels to travel that way. I wanted to know, are our national identities recognized on a political level by agencies and or nations in order for us to exercise our rights nationally and internationally? Now, like we said, and we continue to say on numerous occasions, Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, and this is the most direct reference point that I think Moors could use with regard to international anything and recognition of Moors. Noble Drew Ali told Moors in the 1900s that their flag is 10,000 years old. That same flag that he told Moors about, it flies in the buildings of the international communities right now in 2017. The same flag that Noble Drew Ali said flies. And people keep connecting that flag to some kingdom in Morocco like they're the originators of that flag. Now again, we're late. We're playing catch up. More should have been used their nationality cards to go on planes, boats, and whatever already. From Noble Drew Ali's time, not our time. From that time, it should have been a standard that if somebody says Moorish American, they're showing something that looks like this. Or they're going to show something that doesn't look like what you guys got as far as, you know, your people. Right? That formed a more perfect union and other stuff. Okay, your people are going to have particular identification, papers, whatever. Okay, our people are going to have particular identification papers or whatever. This is something that should have been done already. So, you know, honors to the Moors who have taken the position of attempting to and or successfully using the nationality card to travel on plane internationally or quote-unquote state to state on plane, train, whatever, right? So it is something that has been done, just like right to travel. Like we say, there's Moors who have been exercising right to travel for the past 10 to 20 years with no issues. Still today, 2017, they have no issues with having a plate on their car that does not look like the plates that everybody else has in the jurisdiction where they domicile. And they have no issues. Right? So it's not a thing of does it work, is it recognized, or whatever like that. Because clearly it's recognized if Moore has been exercising for the past 20 years. Right? There's sis right now. She got Bay on the passport. Right? And you know, it's not like I'm telling. Right? It's not like I was told. Like I'm telling, because I saw. I looked and I saw, I was like, oh, got Bay on there. You're a different level more. You're in hiding. You got Bay on there? Moore's trying to figure out how to do this thing. What did you declare my nationality? That's what I put on the paper. And they sent me the stuff in the name of, like, I don't know, it's like with Brother Abdullah, you know, when he gets the question. Brother Abdullah, yeah, we talked a lot about etymology today, you know, thank you very much for that. I had a question about, I've seen a lot of things online about right to travel. Does right to travel work? You know, then Abdullah, you know, cool, calm, collected, you know what I mean? Right to travel, well, you know, I don't understand your question because, I mean, if you want to exercise right to travel, you open the door, put the key in, put it in drive, because it's that simple. A lot of people want stuff advanced. And on top of our people want stuff advanced, you know, they don't understand bedmass, but they want calculus equations. Understand bedmass. Be master at bedmass before you want trigonometry, stuff like that. Right? Not pseudo trigonometry, you know, because you can hit 50 bank shots, you're a trigonometry expert. No. You mean actually putting the bank shot on paper. Write your bank shot down as a formula, and then I'll agree that yes, you're a master of trigonometry. I don't care how far you can shoot. You made 50 of those from half court? Okay. Give me the trigonometry for that on paper. Then I'll say you're a master. Same thing with right to travel. Don't tell me about right to travel. Don't ask about where can we get the plates and all that stuff. How do we get the plates so I can put the plates on so I can right to travel? The Moors who are exercising right to travel right now, trust me, they didn't just hear about right to travel today and tomorrow go buy some plates or go get some plates made and just put them on the car and just go. Trust me, they didn't do that. Alright? So don't look at it from that perspective, you know. Right to fly internationally or whatever like that. Well, you know, sis has Bay on the passport. She flies internationally. She went to India with a passport. It says Bay on it. Moors went state to state with nationality card from wherever to wherever. You know, 2 pieces of ID. You got a nationality card, right to travel card. All right, that's 2 pieces of ID. You know, the thing is, can you stand on what you know? Can you stand on what you know, or are you, you know, I'm a Moor because Taj said. I'm a Moor because, you know, Abdullah's book, page 7, said, so that's why I'm a Moor. That shouldn't be why you're a Moor. You should be a Moor because you know who you are. You should be a Moor. You should be a Moor because, you know, the Matrix. Know thyself. You saw the stuff above the door. Know thyself. Don't worry. Just eat this cookie. By the time you finish that cookie, then you'll know if you're the one. Didn't even get to finish the damn cookie because of freaking cipher. Right? Didn't even get to finish cookie. Deja vu cats and stuff. Forgot about the damn cookie. What the hell's a cookie? That should be a freaking episode or a movie. You know what I mean? Didn't you ever come to the realization that, hey, whatever happened to the cookie the Oracle gave me? I didn't finish the cookie. I got the cookie. We're in the elevator. Morpheus was talking something. And then we went outside and then there's no cookie. Oracle gave you that cookie though. And she gave you a message with the cookie. That was a fortune cookie. But, you know, as we saw, you know, I mean, he didn't need the cookie because he was the one, you know, plan worked to perfection. Distract him with the cookie. Worked to perfection. She knew exactly what she was doing. Right? Question 2. I have heard that there is an American national passport for Moors, however, it is not activated. So clearly there is not. Is not activated due to the mass sleeping Moors or the similar reason to the matter of it not being activated. Is there any truth to this? And if so, should we contract to use a passport, all rights reserved, in order to travel internationally, since it is proof of threat, duress, coercion, fraud, and denationalization? Well, like I said, see, Louisiana, Pittsburgh, Florida, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Jersey, Seattle, that's about it. New York. All right. All those places on passport, all rights reserved, and you know, gotta stop a couple times, check the bag. Ain't nothing, they didn't take nothing. They didn't violate me. I didn't miss my flight or whatever like that. Oh, one time I did miss my flight, but I got, you know, they gave the credit. You know what I mean? Because it was their hold up why I missed the flight. So they gave me a free credit flight. And then that free credit flight, because it was a free credit flight, somebody was stranded. We were able to use that to unstrand a Moor that happened to be stranded. That's just an inside story. But yeah. Right? Oh, forgot about that. Right. So, yeah, Moors could do that, the passport thing. You know what I mean? Don't be shy or something. That, you know, can't do that or whatever. That's why you have all rights reserved. Because they're prisoners in our own land. Right? Goes back to the KKK class. Right? If you saw the KKK class, you heard the Malcolm clip. When the lady gave, or the Klansman gave them a card, and the Asiatic brother took the card and he used the card for any time he got stopped by police. He had the KKK card with his license and then would give that when he got stopped by police, and the police were like, oh, okay, nigger. You be careful out there, nigger. Yes, boss. No problem, boss. Everything's cool, boss. And got to go wherever he wanted to go. Exact same thing. We're under threat, duress, and coercion. So you're going to do the things necessary so that your activity is not bombarded by threat, duress, and coercion, even though, you know, it might be evident, it might be clear, but it's not going to be pouncing on you. It's not going to be corralling you. You know, it'll let you do what you do. Like, even last time, going to Florida, got stopped. Passport, you know what I mean? Order it back. All right, whatever. Passport, did whatever they checked or whatever like that. Where you going? Florida. For what? Classes, lectures, teaching. About what? You know, indigenous history, African history, Moorish history, you know, rights, stuff like that. You're just waiting for your bag to come up. Bag comes up, opens up the bag, going through the books. Go through stuff, you know what I mean? Whatever, bam, bam, you know, put stuff back in, zip up, zip, zip. You said you're going there to do classes? Like, are you part of something? Yeah, more Science Temple. You know. Just going to do a class. Alright, no problem. Yep. How's that? All rights reserved, remember. You know what I mean? This is not I have a passport and it's not all rights reserved. This is not I have a passport and picture doesn't have my national headdress or one of my national headdress. This is not, you know, because I have passport, if I go somewhere, I don't have nationality card with me as well. Because the point of all rights reserved is because you have something that you have to reserve, which is my right. One of them, the right to a nationality. So I'm going to reserve that. Let's put that right over here. Right? In case something goes down, then we're going to pull this up and then we're going to be Moorish national. Passport, what's that? I don't know what you're talking about. Because I heard you something about detain people with passports. Oh, sorry, I don't have a passport. That's, see that right there? All rights reserved. It means I have a right to reserve. Right to a nationality. Here's my nationality card. Then wherever it goes from there, that's where it goes. But there's no way, shape or form, because you have a license or a social or a bank account or a passport or a whatever from the colonists, that's you or that's tied to you or, you know, that's doing something relative to you. Like, no, has absolutely nothing to do with you. You are who your ancient foremothers and forefathers were without doubt or contradiction. And I know for a fact that my ancestors weren't Canadian. I know that for a fact, that they weren't no goddamn Canadians. So if I'm Moorish American and I'm supposed to go back to the mindset of my ancient foremothers and forefathers, why would I be Negro, black, colored, African, Canadian, African American, or whatever? Why would I claim those fictitious things as tied to my reality? When my reality has nothing to do with fictitious things. Right? So you're going to maneuver in this beast system the way that keeps you out of their clutches, because you could do nothing if they have you. You're useless if they have you. So take it from Moors who've been kidnapped and stuff like that. Do your best not to get kidnapped. Remember, they're not going to kidnap you for picking up garbage on the street. That's being active. They're not going to kidnap you for giving children free haircuts for back to school. That's being active. They're not going to kidnap you for feeding the homeless. But that's being active. They're not going to call you for doing something righteous and good. No time to worry with you if you're doing something righteous and good. You know, instead of doing the perceived things that might, not look so good. As far as for Moors, like things doing the claiming stuff and all that stuff, that's tainted water. Why would you even want to claim something knowing the atmosphere that exists right now with Moors claiming stuff? It's nonsensical to even consider it. You know what I mean? They're looking out, so they're gonna put traffic light cameras. That intersection is traffic light camera. You have tendency of running yellow lights, but you use that intersection all the time. And then you want to get all these tickets and want to fight them as Moors. Why are you even using that intersection? You know the camera's there. Right? The camera's there, you can go through the parking lot, go across the intersection to get out of the camera. Opposed to keep getting tickets at this light. That you know that the stuff's there. So Moors have to think. Moors have to analyze before they act more. Consider a little bit before you jump into, I'm going to do this. Stop a second before you take off. Where are you landing? When you jump off the roof, where are you landing? This isn't the Matrix. The floor is going to suck you in and stuff like that. Right? Other questions. From your perspective, Brother Kudjo, what are we not doing or missing to fully initiate our movement? Yes, I'm aware of COINTELPRO, Dirty Moors, European plans. However, I want to know from the perspective dealing with us who are aware and active. Well, like I tell Moors all the time, if we're saying red flag, green star, and then 500 people do like this. You say, Holy Quran of Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Noble Jewelry's Prophet, allodial nationality card, religion Islamism, crescent star, moon and handshake, Great Seal pyramids. Okay, that sounds like unity, and Moors just need to start doing what they're supposed to do as Moors. And we already put it out there that it's about uplifting fallen humanity, nothing else. Anything else, then, you know what I mean? Like, that's the realm that you're going to go in. So, good luck. right? We have a template of uplifting fallen humanity, how we can do that. There's, like we said, some Moors' idea of uplifting fallen humanity was give youth free haircuts before school. That was what their idea, their brilliant eureka moment idea was, hey, we could uplift fallen humanity by giving free haircuts. Yo, you want to give free haircuts? Yo, let's do that. Bam. So I give them free haircuts. That's what they're doing. Trust they're going to be rewarded by Allah for their humanitarian, Rotarian work. Because that's really what it's about. Trust me, they're going to be rewarded. Right? They are going to be rewarded. Whether it's on the earth plane, whether it's on spiritual plane, mental plane, emotional plane, celestial plane, galactic plane, whatever, they're going to be rewarded for their humanitarian work. Right? So what Moors are not doing is being humanitarian. They want to be everything else. They want to be masters of commerce. They want to be masters of right to travel. They want to be masters of everything except assisting those who are less fortunate than us. That's one thing that Moors could start doing to fully initiate the movement. Because uplifting fallen humanity is the motto. So why not, why not go with the program that's been laid down that Noble Drew Ali mastered and had 1 million followers with what he brought. No commerce and Noble Drew Ali trust and BS like that. What Noble Drew Ali trust? Which trust? Find me where Noble Drew Ali said trust in his stuff. And then maybe I'll go with some Noble Drew Ali trust. Just find me anywhere in his stuff where he said there's a trust for Moors to be part of some trust. Right? Before any property is to be claimed, one must establish a trust. Can this also be done without the need of a trust? And if so, what factors may come into play without a trust? And again, let's look at it common sense. Let's look at it from the perspective of neophyte. Right? Everybody, you want to know about trust? Everybody knows from kindergarten to protect your property, whether it's a brief, underwear, or a lunchbox, you put your name in your stuff. Why you put your name in your stuff? Why you put your name on it? Because the name is the trust that property lunchbox belongs to. So nobody better not touch that lunchbox, because clearly right on there it says the trust is Kudjo. Are you Kudjo? And then that's why you go home and mom says lunchbox. Stephen? Kudjo, come here. You're a beneficiary of a trust, right? Yeah, which trust? Kudjo trust. How come you have Stephen's trust? Could you make any claim on that? If you're not Stephen? Same thing with other property out here. Can you make a claim on something that's not yours? Like a birth certificate? Or a social? Or a EIN number? You didn't create it. What do you mean your EIN? My EIN number is 77788888999. That's not your EIN number. You didn't create that. So, again, let's hit the brakes and take our time. This is birthrights. It's not club. This is not, who finished the test first gets the lollipop. This is birthrights. Take your time. You know what I mean? Take your time. This is the birthrights. Islam Wars, don't forget, MHHS Eyes Wide Open on Blog Talk Radio tonight, 9:30 p.m. Where's the ad at? 9:30 p.m. Don't forget, MHHS Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk Radio, 347-945-5899. 347-945-5899 or 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. We're definitely looking forward to connecting with the Moors again at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you call in before 9:30 because the queue fills up fast. Islam to all the Moors for their questions. For any Moors who's seeing this and didn't get the question part, Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. And also for the Moors in Canaanland, don't forget the 27th of August, we're having Canaanland Moors 3rd Annual Barbecue over at High Park, lot number 22. So, you know, get with Mother Mocha, the Women's Auxiliary, and Brother Omar of the Moorish Culture Club if you want to get involved with the festivities of the Canaanland Moors Cookout. So Islam to all the Moors. We're just gonna do our prayer closeout and of course our music closeout. Islam to everybody that was in attendance for today's class. Islam to all the Moors in every jurisdiction waking up and coming to the truth about their nationality and birthrights. Peace and love to all you Moors. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster? Gangster? Gangster?
Black power on my ass, y'all just playing the ass, posing, frontin', no bustin', or dirty cock gun button. At least more's right, rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, feathers up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort of more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling my guys recuse themselves or get sued. Civil rights leaders got conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland we call y'all bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder, while most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I'd sweating nervous court recorders in Admiralty maritime shores. Moors walk on water, ancients return with mental cures, no sight blurred, while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster?
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and pain. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisition is enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims at Oval Office entrance. Into the entrance masses, keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling blacks, acting like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give profits, we take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master. Bullies stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks, while you Facebook posing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster?
got guns and use them on targets moving. Try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but Coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and wanna show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, but will wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and Glovers. Shot in the back, I'm watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for his son's death, but listen to mother. Listen to common exercising his five senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching, the only thing that pickets is fences.